Yeah, okay. So first of all, girls, thank you for coming on tonight. Okay, so this is really exciting that we've got the Sky Blue head coach coming in. So it's very nice of her to give us her time. And thank you for those who've sent questions in. So what I'm going to do is, as we go through, I've picked a few questions. A lot of you have sent similar ones, so I'll try and get as many as we can in. And then I'll introduce you and you're going to ask Freya the question yourself. So I hope you can remember the questions. If not, I can help you because I've got them written down here. Okay. So yeah, I'll hand it over to Freya. So yeah, and then she can give us a little introduction, then we can get started. Okay.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? I know you can't really respond back, but we can do waves and things like that. I can see waves, I can see lots of different people in front of my screen. So thanks very much for having me join your training sessions. I know it's a difficult time right now with everything that's going on, but I know that you guys have been doing some special online skills stuff with your coaches and keeping yourselves busy. So that's really great to see that you're continuing to practice right now, even though we've got difficult conditions. So that's excellent. I hope everyone's doing okay and staying safe and all your families are okay. It's a difficult time right now, but you know, we're all gonna soldier on through it together, which is good. So, you know, as you probably are aware, there's a lot going on right now. So our players, like you guys, are not able to train right now. We were hoping to start the season the first games of the season in April, but it's just been put on hold for a little bit. But we're looking forward to getting back out there and getting training as soon as we can and as soon as it's safe to do so. I imagine that our players are exactly like you guys, and everyone is just wanting to get back on the soccer field. So that's very much what we're going through right now. So I've been the coach for Sky Blue since last August, and then officially as an interim coach, which means like a temporary coach from September and then full-time from December. So this is my first season as the full-time coach of Sky Blue. So I was really looking forward to getting going. So it's a bit of a shame that we've been put on hold for a bit. But similar to Coach Leanne, I grew up in England and I came over here to coach soccer. And coaching soccer has brought me to meet lots of different people, which I absolutely love. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that later on. But that's pretty much where I am right now. And I've heard that you guys have got some great questions for me. So I'm looking forward to being asked those and getting going. And hopefully we can give you some good information about your own journeys and your own development. And hopefully there might be some good pointers in there for you guys to get better as players.
Okay, great. Thank you, Freya. So what we're going to do now is I'll read out the person who's going to ask the question, and then you can unmute yourselves because Armin's muted everyone so that we can hear Freya. And then so I'll introduce you and then you'll unmute yourself and you can ask Freya your question. So the first question that we were going to do is from Kavya Green on 08 Blue. So is she with us? Is she online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you, Kavya. So you can introduce yourself to Freya and then you can ask your question, okay?
Okay. Hello, I'm Kavya, and I think my question was, it was like, what are your tips on,
being more confident.
Yeah, I forgot how I worded it. Yeah, it was about how to be more confident physically and mentally. Yeah, when you play soccer.
Great question, because that's something that players always get asked, and you know, you probably get told, "Oh, be more confident" from your coaches, but it's really hard sometimes to know what that looks like and how you can look to build your confidence. So one thing that we do with our players is set little goals for each other and try and break that process down. So goal setting is a really valuable way of building up your confidence. And one of the best ways to go into situations and go into games feeling confident is to practice until you can't get it wrong. So have you heard that saying before? Have you heard that? I don't know if anyone has or not, but just to keep practicing your skills or your passing or whatever it might be, your technical element, so that you can be able to deliver that under pressure. And then you can set little goals for yourself along the way that relate to your training. then little tasks for yourself to do to try and tick off. And every time you tick off a task, it makes you feel good, and that increases your confidence. So just by doing like little goals that you can set yourself, and then also just practicing in different scenarios and at different amounts of pressure, so that when you play in games, you feel confident going into the game that no matter what situation you're faced in and how much pressure you're under, how many defenders are there, you're able to do that skill and perform that skill under pressure. So especially things like finishing and scoring goals, or tackling, and your passing when you're under pressure, receiving a ball under pressure. These are all things that you can practice and practice and practice, with pressure coming from different angles. It might be from behind, from the front, from the side. Practice receiving a ball, turning and playing it off. And then that helps to build your confidence. But even the pro players, you know, they suffer from having dips in their confidence at different times. So it's something that's really common, and it's not something that is just with being an inexperienced player or a young player. So with our pros as well, and you have to let the pros know that you believe in them, that they can do it. Because obviously with their skill level, they're really, really skillful, and they wouldn't be, to be at that level, they wouldn't be a pro without being that level of skill, but their confidence can drop sometimes. So they need to know that you've got the faith in them, and your coach's faith in you to deliver the skill, and they trust you in that situation. So that's something as a coach we can do to try and help players and give them that confidence to perform.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kavya. Okay, so next one is Amelia Moorhead. Is she online?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Amelia, you sent me 2 questions. It was the first one that you sent me. Do you need me to remind you, or do you know what one that was?
Can you remind me?
I can, yeah. It was, what made you want to be a coach? So you can ask Freya that.
Hi, my name is Amelia, and my question is, what made you want to be a coach?
Hi, thanks Amelia, it's great to meet you. So one of the things is I always loved soccer. I love playing the game, and I got into coaching when I was still at college. We had to do some coaching qualifications as part of my degree course, because I did sports studies, and I did my coaching qualification. I quite enjoyed working with players and using my knowledge of the game, and you know, helping other younger players to get through and develop them as players. So I kept coaching a little bit, but it wasn't my main career. It was something I did on the side. And then I just realized that I really enjoyed coaching people and the daily interaction with lots of different people and helping people get better. So I stuck at it for a bit, and then I went to a few bigger clubs and just kept going. And then I decided to move to America because I like working with the people so much. I wanted to make it my full-time job. So I moved to America so I could be a full-time coach. And I think it's just that interaction with players that I like, and my love of the game. When I finished playing, I was about, 34 when I finished playing, because I got injured and I couldn't play anymore. So I was like, right, I still want to be involved in soccer. So the next natural thing was to be a coach and do it full time.
Okay, thanks Amelia. Next one is Lucia from 07 Blue. Is she with us?
I'm here.
Great. Can you remember your question?
I think I do.
Okay, go on.
So my question was, how do you motivate your players when they're having a bad practice or game or just day in general?
Yeah, that's a really good one, because a lot of the time we think that, you know, with professional athletes, it's their job and that they need to go and perform well every day. But as you know, they're people as well. So everyone can have a bad day from time to time. So it does affect our players, but it's important that they don't stay having a bad day for a couple of days, and a bad day turns into a bad week. So it's similar to building their confidence again and making them feel good. We kind of acknowledge that everyone can have a bad day, and it's not a bad thing as long as you're working hard and they're trying their best. I think if a player's not putting in effort, which is very rare with the professionals are working hard all the time, and the Sky Blue players, but you know, if someone's not working hard, then that's a big thing. But if they're just having a bad day, then it's again making sure that they know you've got trust in them to do a good job, and that you know, and you've got that belief in them and the belief that they're going to do a good job. So, you know, if we can see someone's having a bad day, we might have a laugh and a joke with them, but ultimately we tell them that we believe and we've got faith in what they can do as a player, and just look forward for them showing us the next day.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Lucia. Okay, and next one is Lily from 0203 Blue. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi Lily. So you sent a couple in as well. So it was the first one that you sent in, do you need me to remind you, or
I think
good?
hi, I'm Lily. I think my question was, what is the most challenging part of your job?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest challenge I face in my job is the amount of time I've got, because it's of the professional game, and winning is really important for the team. It's different from youth soccer, where a lot of it is about enjoyment and making sure the players are getting better every day. With the professional game, it switches to winning a little bit. So there's a lot of things that can contribute to winning a game, and we call them like the fine margins, and just all the little things that add up to making a big difference to the overall performance. So when we're trying to work on all these different little things, like time is such a challenge, and we often run out of time, which is a big one. So that's a challenge for me. And then preparing for the college draft. I don't know if any of you guys watched the NWSL draft live that was in January. So picking new players. But in order for us to pick our new players and pick our rookies, we need to watch all the college games and keep an eye on all the players that are playing in college across America. And that's a big challenge when you're in the season and you're trying to watch all the games and pick whoever your best players are. And we had 4 picks in the end that we had to choose from. So that was hard, knowing out of every single player that's playing in college that's graduating and is a senior, which 4 players out of all of those players do we want to pick? So that was a huge challenge for me, trying to watch games and decide how we want to recruit players.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lily. And next one is Asha, 07 Blue. She on?
I think my question was,
I can help
how
you.
was it like growing up, and did you always want to be a coach or have something to do with like soccer?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I was soccer crazy when I was growing up. So I would play every single day. I'd play before school at school. I'd play at break time at school. I'd play after school at school. Then I'd get picked up and go home, and then I'd play after, in the afternoons after school, but at my home with a load of people in my small town. So I played all the time, and that was huge. But I never knew that I wanted to be a coach. I knew that I loved the game, and I knew that I wanted to be involved in sport. But I always thought I was going to be a sports psychologist, so someone who focuses more on the mental aspect of the game. And I did that at college, and that's what I really wanted to focus on. But then I found myself enjoying the coaching aspect more and more, and I like the day-to-day working with players and seeing them every day, and hoping that some of my knowledge I can pass over to the players and organise them in a way to win games. So that's always been a good part. So in answer to your question, no, I didn't think I always wanted to be a coach, but as I did it more and more, I loved it. And I love that daily interaction on the soccer field.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next one is Mia, 08 Blue.
Hi, I'm
Hi, Mia. So you sent in a couple of questions as well. So it was the second one. If you need help with me reminding you, I can do that.
Mia. You remind me.
Yeah, it's what you most enjoys.
Oh, what do you most enjoy about your job?
I like the people. So spending time with the players, because they're really fun and they're really nice people, and we can laugh and we can have a joke outside of practice, and it's really good. But some of the other bits I enjoy, like going in this league, we get to travel a lot. So I like going to the away games and, seeing different stadiums and playing in different stadiums is really fun. And what I love is when we play at home, when we play at Red Bull Arena, and then you walk on the field and you've got everyone in the crowd is cheering. That's really good. And when we score a goal and everyone goes crazy, you can really hear it when you're on the field, and that's a really good part of the job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mia. So next one, Riley Hunt for 09 Blue. Is Riley on?
Riley. My question was.
It was the first one.
How does the game change from your perspective as a coach rather than a player?
Oh, that's a good question. I like that one. So I'm guessing, like, as a player, I'm very much focused on what I do as a player, and am I making my passes, and what am I doing? Am I in the right position? Am I doing my job, and am I doing what I'm supposed to do? But as a coach, you've got to think about the whole team. and getting balance. So for me now as a coach, I'm kind of thinking about everyone and how they all fit together and trying to create good chemistry in the team. So sometimes it's not all about choosing 11 players to start the game that are all the same player or all a certain type of player. So I want to have a good balance of the players to create good chemistry so that we can, win games. So it's important to have different people. So I need people that can tackle well. I need people that can dribble well, pass the ball well. And it might not all be the same player, but it's about getting more of a balance and thinking about the team and the game as a whole, rather than just myself as an individual when I was playing. So that's kind of like the biggest change in how I look at the game.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, next one's Nicole from 0203 Blue. You on, Nicole?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so I think you sent a couple in as well. It was the second one that you sent in. So how she manages different playing styles.
Yes. Hi, so I'm Nicole, and my question is, many soccer player has different playing style. How do you manage and adjust to that?
So there's the playing styles of the players. So when they come in with different attributes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of leads from my earlier answer. The one I just gave is, for me, it's about creating a balance and a chemistry. So I think it's fantastic that all players have different attributes that they've got. So some people really like to dribble the ball and hold on to it. Other people are really good passers and want to release the ball early and, play quickly. Some people get a little bit more nervous on the ball, but they're great, at defending and, being in good positions without the ball to be able to win the ball back for their teammates. So it's about really getting a balance. And at this level now, we get to pick and choose the players that we want, so we can recruit players based on getting that balance and hoping to get a team that complements each other. And then once I've got those players selected and those players are in the club, then it's about being really clear with the goals that you want the team to have and the playing style and the playing philosophy that we have as a team. So individually they can have different skills, but this is the way in which we want to play, and they have to be. So I have to really communicate that clearly, and then they have to be on board with that. And sometimes if they're not on board, they have to learn, and other times if they're not on board, then we might have to trade them, or they might have to be on the bench.
Thank you. And the next one is Yasmin, 06 Blue.
So, hi, my question was...
Yasmin on. Here you go.
Yeah.
My question was, I don't really remember it.
I can tell you. So it was, what's life like for the pro players? So do you mean like day-to-day life?
Yeah, what is like their day life?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. So typically we train, I'll give you a normal day, not like a virus day. So typically we train at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll start. So the players can arrive anytime at the training ground from sort of 8:30, and they come in for treatment at 8 o'clock. So if they've got a niggle or an injury that they need to see and get treatment for, they'll come in and see the therapists and our PT. So they'll come in and get treatment. Otherwise, they generally arrive for 9 o'clock. They've had their breakfast before they come, but we always provide food in the locker room for the players. They come in, they get changed, they get ready for practice. A lot of them will go in the gym before practice and do some stretches and foam roll and do band work, and just get their body sort of moving, ready for the warm up. And then we have to fit GPS units on our players, so we measure everything that they do during training. So they get fitted for their GPS unit, and then they train from 10 o'clock to anytime from 11:30 to 12 o'clock. If it's a training session before a game, sometimes it can be as short as 45 minutes because we don't want to make it too long, so they'll be tired for the game the next day. And then the afternoon is their own. So sometimes we do lifting after practice. Some of them will have more treatment, but then generally they're done by 12 o'clock and they've left the building by 12 or 1 o'clock. They go and eat, they refuel. We got food in the dressing room or in the locker room again for them. And then they go home, spend the rest of the day relaxing, whether they want to walk their dog, hanging out, watching TV, whatever it is they want to do. They generally eat a good meal and then they come back in the next day. And then when it's slightly different when we go on the road. So there'll be some games where we'll fly a couple of days beforehand, and then we'll do like a training session when we're there, and we might train in the afternoon and have meetings in the hotel and things. But that's typically the day that they'll have. And then they'll have a day off. It's like 2 days after a game, they get a day off. But they don't have a lot of time off. They're generally training quite a lot and watching film and things like that.
Okay, next one is Ava from 06 Blue.
Hi.
Hey.
My question was like, what requirements are you looking for in a player?
That's a good question. So like what attributes?
Yeah.
So key things for us is when we're looking at players. So there's a couple of different categories. So they need to be able to be relatively athletic. So are they a smooth mover? What's their top speed like? What's their just general endurance like within the game? How they receive a ball is really good. So how much awareness do they have before they receive the pass? What do they do when they receive a ball, and how fluid they are when they receive a ball? So whether it's on the air, on the ground, can they receive it in a really like fluid and rhythmic motion? So they're really comfortable with the ball at their feet. We look at their attitude as well. So, do they have a good attitude, a willingness to learn? When we're recruiting players from the draft, we'll call up all their college coaches and we'll just check in with how they are as a person. Do they do extra? Are they really dedicated to their sport? Have they been in trouble at school or anything like that? Because generally we don't want players that are causing trouble or anything. So, we try and do a little bit of a background into that. And then we look at their technical ability. So depending on their position, are we looking for someone who's, a really good striker? If it's a defender, how good are they at like winning balls in the air, making tackles, being strong, seeing as the way they see the field in their awareness? If they're a midfielder, they've got to be good on the ball, be able to deal with the ball in tight spaces and under pressure. And if it's a striker, do they put themselves in the right position in the penalty box so that they can score goals? And how, are they able to score goals under pressure? Especially with, how many shots that they are afforded in a game and how many of those they convert and finish. So we want those strikers that are going to be difference makers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then the last one, it was a few people had asked this, so I'm just going to do it as a whole. It was, what advice or would you give to a youth soccer player if they wanted to play at a professional level?
It's great. So I think the first thing is you've got to really enjoy playing the game. So you've got to find yourself in an environment where you can enjoy playing and enjoy having a ball at your feet so you can do extra, because that's the next part. You've always got to try and do more than the next person. There's a lot of players, that are playing youth soccer, and there's a lot of players that want to go and play in college. But to make it as a pro, there's only a very small percentage of those players playing in college that will go and make it as a pro. So the key thing is, can you do extra and use every day to get better and better, to dedicate to your game. And then I guess the last piece would be confident in who you are as a player. So I talked about like recruiting different players because I like different players within the squad. I don't want a squad of every single player that's exactly identical. So if you're really good at something and you enjoy something, you get really good at that element of your game. So if you like dribbling a ball, work really hard on dribbling so you can be really, really good and get better and be better than other people at dribbling. If you really like passing a ball and, you like doing different types of passes and you get a lot of joy from that, and just work really hard at that until you can get really, really good. If you're a striker and you like scoring goals, work hard at that. But don't try and be, depending on the coaches that you're working with, don't try and change yourself too much as a player to suit all different coaches. Like, be true to yourself, find what you enjoy in the game, and then just work really, really hard at it to be the best that you can be at that area of the game. And then there's going to be coaches that are going to want you because of that.
Brilliant, thank you. Armin, did you have any questions or?
No, I mean, some really good questions that the girls had. I think a lot of insight for younger players on this call that maybe want to play at the next level. One thing I do think about is the state that we're in, Freya, for a player to continue developing, considering we don't have normal training, don't have competitive matches to play. Do you have any advice for those players? I know from our perspective, right, we try to give them training sessions that are some ball mastery, maybe twice a week. But above and beyond that, what can players be doing to continue developing?
It's a great question. So like that's the first thing. So you know, one of the things that when I got asked how we look at players and what we look for when we recruit the top players, it's when then we talked about receiving the ball and being comfortable on the ball. It's that level of ball comfort's really important. So all these drills that you're doing with your coaches, like on the ball and ball mastery, keep doing those, because that's how comfortable you are on the ball, being able to use both feet and move the ball from one side of your body to the other quickly. So you imagine a defender's coming and you're able to protect it, or some of the moves that you're doing in the foot skills, can you put disguise on it so a defender can't win the ball? So those are like huge things that you can never do enough of as a player. So that's a great start already now. And then the other thing is watch as many games as you can and watch them carefully. So if you like watching, like at the moment, I know that they're playing a lot of the US women's national team games and like old games that they're showing again. Like if you can, just try and record that and record as many games as you can that are coming up on your TVs, or try and go and watch old games on the internet and watch some of your favorite players. And you know, and watch the game with your position in mind. So if you're a centre midfielder, like watch the centre midfielders and try and keep your eye on them whenever they come into screen. They might not be on the ball, but see what they're doing off the ball as well. And then pick a good player that you like and you want to be like that player, and then go on YouTube and find clips of that player playing, because you know every player has pretty much got a highlights tape now on YouTube that you can watch, and just go through and watch what they do on the ball and watch what skills that they have, and then just try and emulate it. And for a lot of these skills, you don't need a lot of space, so you can do it in like your bedroom. You know, it's not a case of passing the ball and hitting it against the wall when you're inside, but you can look up moving the ball from different parts of your body, using different parts of your feet, and just practicing that. If it's control, whether you've got a bit of space outside, you can work on just kicking the ball up a little bit higher, bringing it down, you know, hitting it against the wall and receiving and turning and being fluid. These are all things that you can do, but you can definitely watch a lot of games right now. And sometimes we don't watch enough games. So I think it's important to do that. That's what the pros do. They watch a lot of games.
Okay, thank you. Well, girls, I think that's a wrap for now. So I think on behalf of all of us, we can say I'll say thank you to Freya for giving up 40 minutes of her time and answering your questions. And I know that I certainly learned a lot, so I hope you've all took away a little bit of it. Practice on your own, watch games, that's what you need to do. Okay, so girls, you can all give Freya a wave and say bye, because you're all muted and can't speak.
Thanks, girls.
Thanks, Freya.
Love
Thank
it.
you, Freya.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Bye.